Hi, and welcome to Dream Dowsing. We're your hosts, Kim and Margarita. And once a week, we get together and we analyze a dream. And the way we do it is I interpret the symbols. I do some research on that. Some I just know from doing them so much. And then the others I have to look up. And I'll give you the resources for where I look them up. Then it's a matter of sitting with the dream to try it makes sense. Margarita helps me out with the interpretation with the pendulum. Do you want to explain how you do that?
Yes. So the pendulum that I use for this is a DNA spiral, and it's actually about 6 inches long. And I know I have said in the past that it was made out of brass because most of my pendulums are made out of brass, but this
Mhm.
is actually copper and
Oh,
is plated with gold. So it weighs about 3.5 ounces. So it is really beautiful and it's one piece. So we like to use this because, well, it's two things. This has uh, properties where it's able to clear and at the same time increase and connect with frequencies. And when you're doing the dream, it's something that we need to do it quick. So I like this one. And I just, for whatever reason, I'm drawn to the DNA spiral. And the way it works is when Kim is talking about a dream, the pendulum will agree by just moving back and forth, or when it's not, when it's in disagreement with what Kim said, it's going to move side to side. So that's one way. And when it's thinking like, oh, I'm not sure, maybe I need clarification, and I don't know where Kim is going with this, it just moves counterclockwise. So that's how we use it in this case. It could be used in other ways, but this is how it's done. And it connects with the frequency. So we are all about vibration and frequencies, people, thoughts, animals, dreams, anything that we can see or not see. We can touch, and this is just a tool. You can only work with me using it or somebody else, but it needs a person.
yeah. Okay. And if you want more information on that, if you're new to our podcast, you can go to our very first episode where we explain in greater detail about how the pendulum works and how the dream interpretation works.
That's
So,
right.
to give you a bigger tutorial on that one. So, why don't we go ahead and get started? And stay tuned because at the end of the podcast, we'll tell you how you can submit your dream in case you would like us to interpret yours. And if you're driving and not watching, which you should not be, if you're driving, well, we'll tell you what's happening with the pendulum so that you can see in your mind what's happening.
Kim, I actually have a little joke for you.
Oh, you have a joke?
And
All right.
yeah, and it's usually, our little jokes are about dreams. And so this is actually a question
Okay.
and a joke.
A question and a joke.
So,
All right.
what do you call a group of people at a company that sleep on the job? They fall asleep on the job. How do you call that group of people?
I do not know. I don't know what you call them.
The dream team.
The dream team. That's funny. Now everybody's all proud of being on a dream team is going to have to reevaluate what they're calling themselves. That was cute. Thank you. All right, let's get started with our first dream. Well, our only dream for this episode, anyway. So this dream, the dreamer was on a tour of a very big house.
Hmm.
Said it was very fancy, and that they were handing out souvenirs on the tour of the house. And it was a green flip phone that everybody was getting. Um, and the hostess, who is somebody famous, but I don't think I should bring it up right now because it would probably be political. So it's just somebody who's a hostess and very wealthy hostess, and she was complaining to him that people were being ungrateful because they were complaining they didn't want a green flip phone, and so he defended the people, saying, "Well, they don't really use flip phones anymore, and they were probably expecting something a little nicer than that coming through your house." So the tour was over, and they were on the second story of the house. They were going to go downstairs for a dinner, and there was a big ledge. Everybody came to the edge of a big ledge, but there were no stairs to go down to get down to the second floor or to the first floor. So she said, "Don't worry, ladders will be pushed over and provided by somebody. Somebody will bring over the ladders." So he said he was looking around, his hands were full. He had, I don't know what, bags or something like that. And he found there was a staircase off to the right. So he went downstairs to dinner using the stairs. And he went to a long table where they were having dinner with friends. And he said he recognized two of the people who were there. So that's the dream. That's an interesting dream.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we got Mr. Thor, the cat, coming to visit. So have him sit down here if he can be quiet. Well, there's a lot of things going on here. The phone means communication. You're trying to be able to communicate, have resources to communicate to the outside world. The phone was a flip phone, so it's very old technology for a phone. We don't use those too much anymore today. And the ladder represents trying to be smarter. That was an interesting thing that was brought up, was that the ladder, which to me seems like it would be more antiquated, like the flip phone, than the stairs. So the ladder represents trying to be smarter, but depending upon whether that was a positive or a negative symbol, and the reason why is because usually when you have, like for stairs, if you're going to go upstairs, that means you can be climbing like the ladder to success. It can all be good, be a very positive thing. And going down would indicate backwards progress ordinarily. But in this dream, the dreamer was trying to get down and he was being smarter by using stairs. Only in this interpretation that I'm looking up, the ladder represents trying to be smarter than using the stairs. So it's like somebody who comes along, like, I got to get up here. I bring my ladder and I can run right up the ladder. So I got up to the tree faster or whatever using the ladder. But like, there should be stairs in this big fancy house. There's a lot of things that I'm trying to think what the word is. Like it seems like it should be one way, and things are kind of backwards in this house. So like the flip phone is not very nice. It's this big fancy house. She's giving out flip phones and having to use a ladder to get down. Seems like it should have a stairway. I know I'm confusing the pendulum. The pendulum is just going in
No,
circles.
it's
It's a
okay.
confusing dream.
Yeah, when you gather your thoughts, it could be this, so it's kind of, but then
Too much.
it will stop and either you go yes, no, or whatever. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you may want to say that again.
Okay. It's a big fancy house owned by a big celebrity individual, and she's giving out cheap phones and there aren't even stairs. So but somehow all this stuff should be negative, like the ladder should be a negative symbol, but the ladder, like the fact that you have to take a ladder downstairs as opposed to
That's what is,
stairs,
yes. So the ladder is a negative symbol.
it's a
That's what he
negative
was
symbol.
thinking. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so it seems negative, even though what I've read is that it should be a smarter thing. But I think it's negative. It's because again, it's something that's not what it's not what you think you're going to get. So, and then taking the stairs down was actually pretty smart. And so taking the stairs to go downstairs, which ordinarily would be interpreted as a negative symbol because you're going backwards. But in this one, you're going downstairs to where all the friends are. And there's a table that, when things are on the table, that means things are up for discussion. We're going to come together on this thing, whatever's on the table. Like, when you're having a discussion in a meeting, okay, well, let's put this out on the table for discussion. It just is just an expression, meaning we're going to bring this out. So there's food on the table. There's food for thought. Everything's here. There's a meeting of the minds. There's some community. So the person is going downstairs to get to this meeting of the minds of the community. So it's kind of an interesting dream to me. The person is could be kind of important. It's a person that one expects has a lot of wealth, because it's important to know what a person means. Like if you were just going to have three things off the top of your head to describe a person, that is valuable. The pendulum, by the way, is going in circles while I'm talking. This individual, I think he said would mean like shallow, tone deaf, and very wealthy. It would, and that's swirling on that.
Oh, right. Now it confirms what you just said. Yes.
Okay, so that, I mean, that's
Yeah.
his opinion. So if you're coming to tour a big house, like a house is your being, it's your state of mind, it's you. So if you're coming into a state of mind that you feel your expectations are going to be. This is going to be a wonderful place to be in my mind. Like, let's say you set goals for yourself. Like, when I get this job, that's just going to be wonderful. So he has set up this wonderful state of mind for himself with these high expectations of what it's going to be. But when he gets there, he finds out that it's not all he thought it was going to be. Like, it looked like it was going to be something good, but it's not. It's not what he thought it was going to be. So it could be something like he was picturing a job, a project, a move, a different way of being, which I would say with the house might be he was anticipating a different way of being, who he was going to be. It's interesting. So your pendulum's going yes. It's gone yes though on all these possible suggestions. So it seems like it could be for whoever the dream is for there. But that there was this anticipation of what it would be, and it wasn't. The phone wasn't that great. There were no stairs. Ladders were coming, but they weren't there either. Just a lot of letdowns. But then going back down to whatever the previous level was. So the previous job or the previous state of mind, previous project was where there was community, food representing also abundance, food for thought. Everything was down at this other level. So my interpretation of this dream, after all this long talking out, this is the way my brain works, sorry, is that he is probably better off, or at least happier, staying at a lower, and it's probably not really lower, it's probably not really the proper term, but the level that was previous, or maybe it is lower. So like if he's looking at a job opportunity, it might be that taking that bigger job is not going to be the source of happiness. Staying at the lower job is going to be better. If he's talking about moving to this really big house, maybe staying at a smaller house is going to be better. So it seems like not reaching too far for something that is not necessarily based in reality. It's better to stay where there's a better sense of community and what you know. That pendulum's going crazy with yes on that one. Jeez, watch as you get hit. That's amazing. All right, what do you think, Margarita?
About the
That
dream?
yeah, does that sound good to you? Does that sound like a decent interpretation to you?
Oh yeah. Well, I just, I said before, I really don't understand dreams. You are the expert on that. You've been doing it forever. But in my case, I just guide myself by the pendulum. It's just I'm focused on, well, through the pendulum and what you are saying. I just go with, I always say it's whatever the pendulum says.
Yeah. Okay,
Because
that's
it's
awesome.
frequency with frequency, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's
If it
interesting.
makes any sense, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I may add now that you asked me that is that like even when I do healings, whatever it is that I do with the pendulum, I do trust it because it comes to a point when you say it's always like right, and sometimes we are not, you know.
Right. No, we
Yeah.
don't. We have our
So
minds
yeah,
that get
exactly.
in the
And
way.
so when you work with this, you really need to get out of your mind. I guess that's my point. You just don't want to because our thoughts are very powerful. So even if you are in a group of people using the pendulum and they are just thinking, oh, I hope it doesn't work or it does, that's not true. It's a free, it's a vibration, and
Mm,
that's what this is catching. So it's good. So I try to just not just focus on the ring what you are saying and just watching it to make sure how it moves. Just not to make sure to know how it moves.
yeah. And the pendulum agrees with you about what you're saying because it's still
Yeah.
saying yes.
It better.
Yeah. Otherwise, another pendulum's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, even before I do this, I have a little ritual where I really just connect with dream dowsing and send light and love to everybody who's listening to us so that we are and that this is positive for anybody who listens now or later,
Yeah. No, it
and
is.
that everything comes from the truth, from the light, if
No,
it
it's
makes any
beautiful.
sense.
Yes, it does make sense. Yes. Okay. Well, so I wanted to share something that doesn't necessarily have to do with what we're talking about, but it's a book I'm reading right now. It's by Alberto Villoldo,
Oh,
and It's called Shaman Healer Sage. I've been meaning to read it for years, and I don't feel like it was available for me to listen to on audiobook before, but I saw it a couple days ago, so I'll go ahead and listen to that now. Excuse me. And he was talking about how he found um, this master teacher, and the master teacher was in an indigenous location, and Alberto Villoldo is a well-trained scientist and researcher and everything like that, but he wanted to know more about how to heal people. So he decided to go to reach out to indigenous populations who have been using shamanic methods of healing forever, and he wanted to understand why does that work and how. So he found this person, and this person had no teeth, and so or he had like most of his front teeth missing, and so he said he would help Alberto if he fixed his teeth for him. So he Alberto arranged for him to go see a dentist, and what it required was that a number of the teeth had to be removed, and then dentures would be outfitted. So every so often he would go and get a few more teeth removed because they didn't want to remove them all at one time. It was very painful. The man was miserable. But finally he got his shiny new dentures and he just loved them. So he said, okay, now I'm going to teach you. So he took him to a place that was very, very cold and like -10. It was a very cold temperature. And he said, you're going to have to go into this water. It was in the middle of the night too. You have to go into this water and you need to go to the bottom and you need to kiss the glacier on the bottom of this. And he was terrified because he has a scientific background, a medical background, and he knew like this could kill me if I go into this water. But he felt like he had to do it. So he took off all of his clothing and he was absolutely freezing and went into the water. At first, he lost his breath immediately because it was so cold. And then he finally managed to go down and kiss the glacier and come back up. And so the guru person was explaining to him that there are these different levels of achievement understanding that you have to do to become a true shamanic master to really understand everything and provide the best level of healing for everybody. And then he said, you didn't really need to do this. I didn't really have to ask you to do this thing with the glacier. I just wanted to get payback because it hurt so much having all my teeth extracted before you had the dentures put in. So he said later that night, it took him forever to get dressed because he was so cold and his skin was so wet. He finally got himself dressed again and went back to his tent. He noticed that his teacher was sleeping very peacefully, his sleeping bag. So he went and took his dentures and he hid them somewhere in the tent, and he couldn't find the dentures for 2 days. So I just thought it was funny because it's like we take spirituality so seriously. I know I do. A lot of times I'm really thinking about it, and I've had a couple of dreams where the interpretation is just like lighten up. And that I thought was very funny because here's this thing that's so serious and like he could have killed him and by having him dive into that cold water, but it's like, well, then I'm going to hide your dentures. I thought that was just funny. Like it's okay to have levity and it's good to have levity because if we think about like our interpretation of God and the universe, there's a lot of joy. And so it doesn't have to be just about heaviness, like heavy study and heavy practices and beating yourself up because you're not good enough, you're not doing it right. I thought that was a nice little story.
Hmm. Yeah, and actually, I'm curious, where did this happen? Do you know? Is it South America or
Somewhere in South America.
some?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So I feel like it could have been Peru, but I'm not really sure where it was.
okay.
But wherever it was very, very cold. And there was a glacier.
Yeah, it could have been Peru, just because there's a lot of people go there to study shamanism, and you know more, but I only kind of read about it here and there, and also at the altitude, they call the higher it gets, there's a lot of so I wouldn't be surprised. And when you said that about it, just the phrase that came to me, because I used to say it a lot, and I used to tell that to myself, is that don't take yourself so seriously.
Mm, yeah.
I just find that to be just, life is simple. We complicate it. It's
Yeah.
just normal. It's just we get in our own way. We always could have the tendency to blame somebody else or the parents or whatever or the air.
Yeah.
But at the end, spirituality is it's a very personal trip. It's a very, and we do it's normal, take ourselves a little bit too seriously. So sometimes we go on these thought, you know, just go around and around. We just need to stop ourselves and say, hey, don't take yourself so seriously. It's just a way to snap out of it. And
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important to remember. I think we just take life very, very seriously too. And I think that's one thing that holds us back really is that we are taking every single thing just too
yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought that was
Maybe,
fun.
I know this is kind of silly, but maybe let me see if I can remember another joke. Would that be okay? It's a good way
Okay.
maybe to end.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. What do you got?
So let's see if I remember this one. So there's this wife, she gets up one morning and it's her birthday, and she says to her husband, honey, do you know what I dreamed last night? You say, no. Well, I dreamt that you gave me this beautiful, beautiful diamond necklace for my birthday. And he said, okay, wait until tonight. So the husband comes home from work in the evening and gives the wife this little bag, and the wife is so excited, and she opens the bag to find a book that says dream interpretation.
There you go. You got to work on that. That was funny. That was very clever.
Yeah, yeah,
But that was mean.
a little bit.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well,
I'm sure he made it up for her birthday somehow.
I would hope so. Oh, that's funny. Well, so thanks you for listening to our show. I want to let you know now how you can submit a dream for yourself. So if you will go to our website, dreamdowsing.com, down towards the bottom, there's a form you can fill out, and it asks you about your dreams. And we want a lot of details from your dreams, like what symbols you remember, how you felt about them, because that can lead to a different interpretation for a symbol based on whether you were feeling positively or negatively towards that particular thing. People, if there's significant people in your dream, if you think you know who they were, like sometimes it'll be like, well, it looked like this person, but I know in real life it was, my mother or whatever. So go ahead and put all those details in there. And if it's a person, it'll ask you specifically to say quickly what thoughts come to mind with that person, like, oh, she loves pottery, she likes cats, and she can be kind of mean. And you just want to, first three things come to mind, you want to write those things down. But all that stuff is really helpful. And then we will be able to hopefully pull your dream and interpret it on our show. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Margarita. This was
I
fun.
know. Thank you, Kim. Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody who's listening.
Thanks for the extra joke. That was funny. All right. Bye for now. See you again. Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Bye.
Yeah.